Today's segment is for advanced users. I want to talk to you about how to upgrade your experience of the dynamic cheshbon nefesh. Do not try this if you're still a beginner. If you haven't done it already a little bit, you're not getting used to the idea of what it feels like to sit with regret and to sit with pleasure, please do not try this right away. Okay, but if you're already kind of getting a sense of how it is, here's the next level, how to really upgrade. And it's actually something very, very exciting. I call it a Yiras HaChet exercise. Yiras HaChet is a level, a madrega that I always assumed that it's just, I don't know, it's impossible for me. I mean, what Yiras HaChet, let's talk about Yiras HaChet. You know, what does it mean? You know, well, there's Yiras Hashem, Yiras Shemayim. Yiras Shemayim is perhaps more common concept that people could relate to. And there's two levels. The low level, like for children, of Yiras Shemayim is, oh, if you're a bad boy, you'll get punched. You know, you go, Gehenna has got a fire there, I think, and it's very hot, so be a good boy or you'll get punished. But you know, the Rambam already tells us that that's not the real thing. That's for little children, that's for people who don't have a developed mind. Real Yiras Shemayim, right, fear of God, it's like anything else very important to you. You know, are you scared to walk into the street without looking? Just walk into the street. Hopefully you are, because that fear will keep you alive. If you value your life, you exercise caution. You are scared of losing it. If you value relationships, you exercise caution. You know, at work, you may not tell your boss everything you want to. You know, I wish people would act that way with their spouse. You know, if we really respected and appreciated the people who love us in our lives, we would exercise caution. Once in my private practice, there was a woman telling me that, oh, you know, I feel that like in marriage, so there's love, and you shouldn't have to think before you talk, you know, because you want to have a natural relationship, and a natural relationship is comfortable, and when it's comfortable, you just say whatever it's such a terrible, terrible mistake, because you need to have respect. Love will only exist within the context of respect. If someone loves you but doesn't respect you, that love will die. So, fear. Getting back to fear. Fear, or you can call it caution, when you really, really appreciate, when you really value something, you're afraid of losing it. And that's what Yiras Shemayim is. When Hashem is important to you, when Hashem is valuable to you, so your fear, you don't want to do Averos, because you know that that's going to distance you from Hashem. It's going to ruin your relationship with Hashem. It's not just about punishment. So that's Yiras Shemayim. What does Yiras HaChet mean? Yiras HaChet means it's not just that I'm afraid of losing my relationship with Hashem. The actual sin itself becomes so associated with the dangers that I'm scared of the sin itself. I look at it like poison, right? For example, like an addict, the way he may look at alcohol. A person who's not an addict will look at alcohol and just say alcohol, you know, you gotta be careful, you know, you can enjoy a glass of wine, but you know, don't have too much of it. But you're not scared of the wine. But a person's an addict, right? At least some of the addicts that I talk to, they say, no, for me, when I see alcohol, I see poison. And what I have to know is that if I drink that, I will die. For me, a drink, a sip is death. And when they realize that, then that's really a way to stay away from it. That's what Yiras HaChet is. When you take the Yiras Shemayim and you actually attach it to it, and you realize like, wow, you associate the full danger and the pain of what you're losing to that behavior. So you're really, really far away from it. You know, we see this in our world very simply. You know, I remember once passing by an area, I was in the United States, and there was like a fire, and then the firefighters there in the fire trucks, and in the back of the truck, there was this big sign that said, stay back 300 feet. Stay back 300 feet. I'm thinking to myself, like, no one's staying back 300 feet. You know, all the onlookers are trying to see, there's the yellow line, everyone wants to see, everyone's curious, right? But the firefighters know that, you know, the fire does surprising things, it's a dangerous thing. So don't just stay away. Stay far away. Stay 300 feet away, which is much further than you need to stay. But, you know, you want to be safe? You stay way back. Now, Chazal did that with Averos. Chazal's attitude to Averos is like much more extreme than we would, like, you know, for example, Hilchos Yichud. You know, in the secular world, they don't get it. Well, so a man and a woman can't be in the same building. Like what is it? You know, what the rabbis have like these dirty minds. Like, what do they think about all the time, right? Stay 300 feet away. That when you have Yiras HaChet, you don't just stay away from it. You stay far away. It's amazing. I love what it says in the Shulchan Aruch and you know, Even Ezer. I think it's Siman Chav Ches. It says that if you have to stay very, very far away, men have to stay very far away from mingling with women. It doesn't. It said this is what Lashon Shulchan Aruch. It says Tzarach lehisrachek ma'od ma'od. Mingling It's not enough to stay far away. You have to stay very far away, and that's not either enough. You have to stay very, very far away. In the business world, you go out to lunch, you hang out, and it's just business. Yeah, I know. But then, surprisingly, it ends up that it's not business. Where did that come from? It comes from not staying very, very far away. So you're surfing the internet. How many clicks away are you from pornography? Are you far away from it? Are you very, very far away from it? Come on, let's get serious filters. Let's make it impossible that we could access dangerous things to our spirituality. It's amazing to imagine what our children have access to, what we have access to when we're sitting on a computer with unfiltered internet, a few clicks away from the most horrible, horrible destruction of our own souls. There's Gemara Maseches Sukkah, which brings this out in an amazing way. The Gemara says that at the end of time, may it come soon, Hashem will slaughter the Yetzer Hara. He will shach the Yetzer Hara. And there's a whole shot why specifically slaughtering. It's not just because it's goring. Hashem will slaughter the Yetzer Hara. Now at that time, He's going to show the Yetzer Hara to the tzaddikim and to the rishaim. And interestingly enough, it will appear differently. The tzaddik will see the Yetzer Hara as a huge mountain, and the rasha will see the Yetzer Hara as a little low, thin hair. Okay, interesting, cryptic. What's that about? Let's go a little further. The Gemara continues, and he says, in a person's interaction with the Yetzer Hara, in our relationship with the Yetzer Hara, at first the Yetzer Hara appears to a person like a very thin strand, like a spider would weave, like a strand that comes out of a spider. That's how weak, that's what the Yetzer Hara is like. However, with time, if the person gets comfortable with the Yetzer Hara, so to speak, that thin strand turns into a thick rope, the kind of rope used to tie a bull to the wagon. So the Maharsha is comparing these two Gemaras, and he's trying to figure out, is there a contradiction here? Is there not a contradiction? Because if you look at it, it's kind of confusing. First it says the tzaddik sees a mountain, and the rasha sees a thin hair. And then it says, for everybody, it starts out as a thin hair, it ends up as a thick rope. How do you put these two Gemaras together? And then Maharsha says an amazing shot. It says like this. Really, the rasha is looking at the Yetzer Hara the way it actually is in real time. Because the Gemara says that the Yetzer Hara appears to a person like a thin strand. And that's what the Yetzer Hara will see at the end of time, a thin strand. The rasha looks at the Yetzer Hara the way it is. Nothing. I'm doing it today, but I could stop tomorrow. It doesn't really control me. It's just like a little thing I'm doing right now. And the thing is, the rasha is right. What the rasha doesn't realize, though, is what's going to happen in the future. What the tzaddik realizes is that if you continue with it, it's a slippery slope. If you start with a little infraction, very, very quickly, that little thin strand becomes a powerful rope. So that's what the tzaddik sees, a big mountain. The tzaddik looks at the thin strand and says, yeah, right now it's a thin strand. But he understands what's going to happen in the future and says, oh my gosh, this is a heavy mountain that will crush me. The rasha lives in reality, he lives in the now. He says he's realistic. He says the Yetzer Hara is just that. So I'm not going to worry about the future. I'm going to chill. The tzaddik says, no, don't chill. Oh my gosh, stand back. This is dangerous. Run away. He has yiras hachet. So he doesn't even get close to it. So that's why the rasha experiences the Yetzer Hara the way it is, as a thin strand, and eventually as a thick rope. But the tzaddik, who sees it from the beginning as a big mountain, it remains the whole time. The power over the tzaddik is like a spider's web, nothing, easily brushed away. That's what Chazal are telling us to do with Averos. Don't look at them the way they are. Forgivable. Yiras hachet is to take the full understanding of where this is going and associate that with the chet. Okay, so this is the introduction. How can we use this practically? How can we learn from the Gemara to do what the tzaddik does? Obviously, we want to be a tzaddik, not a rasha, right? So how can we get yiras hachet and see a mountain when in fact all it is right now is a little strand? See, because the challenge is the rasha is actually correct. The rasha sees a strand and that's all that's there. The tzaddik sees a mountain that's in the future. How do we get that wisdom of the tzaddik to see a mountain where it's hard to see it right now? And the answer is, it's an upgraded version of our pain regret exercise using a visceral experience. First I'm going to explain to you how it works, and then I'm going to tell you a specific example that we already did in our webinar, and it goes like this. I want you to think about your worst failure in whatever area you're working on. And when you picture your worst failure, then your deepest regret, because whatever it is you're working on, chances are you failed at some point in it, and that's why you're working on it, right? So think of your epic failure, your worst time, and how that felt for you. And this is like upgrading taking the extreme version of the regret, remembering your epic failure and how you felt then. Don't distract yourself from it. Find it in your body. Find that horrible, horrible feeling, and realize that tomorrow, when you're going to be tested with just a little edge of that, if you don't stop it when it begins, you're going to get back. You're going to do that again. You will do that again. So see the mountain instead of seeing the strand. And let me tell you a specific example how this worked out in the seminar. So there was a man saying that, he wanted to work with annoying situations and annoying people, not to get annoyed. Okay? And he was realizing that if he'd be more connected to Hashem, he would be more spiritual, more conscious, more mindful. So then, annoying situations and annoying people wouldn't affect his emotions. Okay? A very, very special person. This is what he's working on. And okay, so here's the story. There's this guy in Shul. He's a Rabbi of a minyan, and there's this guy in Shul who's annoying everybody. He davens loud. I don't know. He screams the whole davening, and nobody could concentrate. And everyone's coming over to him as the Rabbi. Hey, you got to do something about it. Tell him to stop. None of us could think. None of us could concentrate. This guy, we're very happy for him. He's praying, but no one else could pray. So he's getting annoyed and he's getting stressed out by it. And every day he tries to say something, and the guy, all the normal methods of communication failed. And then one day he lost it. He just blew up at the guy. And he did the equivalent of throwing him out. And he's so broken about it right now. It hurts him so much. He's like, wow, I shamed a Jew in public, in front of other people. And he's so broken about that right now. So here's how we utilize that. When you think about that pain, you never want to do that again. But how about the frustration that you're going to experience tomorrow? So that, whatever, just a little frustration. You might get a little bit annoyed. You might say, come on, So we allow ourselves slight infractions. Get a little bit annoyed, and we forget about Hashem for a minute, and we think this is a horrible person, and he's causing me a problem, and I need him to stop because my life isn't good, because all these people, and this guy is the problem, because I forgot about Hashem, so I think this guy is the problem. So we allow ourselves in a daily way a slight infraction. But the thing is, if you allow yourself that, you know what's going to happen? If you get annoyed again, and again, and again, eventually you're going to explode just like you did last time. So don't just promise not to explode. Promise not to, what you want to focus on, what you want to work on is the little slight frustrations, and allow your awareness of Hashem to cure you from the slight frustrations, realizing that if you don't, it's heading you right there. So this is a high level exercise. I hope to be zeicha to achieve it a little bit. It's a yiras hached exercise. It's realizing that what I'm dealing with is not just what it is right now. It's the slippery slope of where it's going. So visualize, feel, experience the pain of what we've already experienced, of my epic failure, and attach that, associate that pain to the daily struggle, the daily challenge, which may be much smaller, so you stay far away from it. Now, my recommendation is you do that when you say Hayom Yom. Remember that dedication? So at the dedication part of things, as you dedicate your day to your spiritual goal, and you think about whatever symptom you want to get better at, and whatever your goal is, at that time, take a split moment just to recall the sense of pain that you felt, that you experienced in your worst, most epic failure, and say, wow, I really want to ace it today because I want to have a great life. I want to have a pleasurable life. And the trick is, the same way you did this with negative, you could also do this with positive. Think about your best mitzvah. Think about your best success. Think about the pleasure it brought you. And the same way you have yiras hached, you could have avos ha-mitzvah. And associate that with the satisfaction of what you're trying to achieve. Wow, when I remember that one time, I really succeeded. I'll just tell you about this morning. I had a really hard time waking up this morning. I went to sleep, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had to wake up early for slichas. You know what? I did. I got out of bed. And it may sound simple to you, but I feel great. I feel great. Use that feeling of satisfaction to encourage yourself. Think about a huge success and use that to inspire yourself, to attach yourself to your smaller successes. So let's upgrade our regret and our satisfaction exercise when you're ready for it. I don't recommend trying this right away, like I mentioned in the beginning, but after you kind of get used to this a little bit, upgrade it and achieve the level of yiras hached and avos ha-mitzvah, so we could be like the tzaddik in the Gemara, Masechah Sukkah, Daf Nun Beis, and just defeat the Yetzer Hara like it ain't no thing. Come join us. Send your email to thetorahcenter@gmail.com. Join the spiritual you, True Chabura.